Assalamu alaikum everyone. So today we are going to be looking at the qualities of successful entrepreneur. What qualities do an entrepreneur needs to be successful, to make the business successful, to carry forward the business. And we are going to also be discussing about the reasons for why business failure, business usually fail in the first year of trading, because it's a lot common. There's a rate of business failure in the first year of trading is very high, around 50-60% in most countries. So let's dive right into it. Now, I've listed down some qualities that are needed by a successful entrepreneur. In some books, you might say that this and two qualities might be separated or listed as separately as different points, and some are more developed, or some are maybe joined together. So these are just my quality. The sorry, not these are just what I think is the best way of representing the qualities of a successful entrepreneur. And in questions, generally they ask it comes in 8 mark question or even 12 mark question. You have to write around three qualities, 3 to 4 for 12 marks and 2 to 3 for 8 marks. So I've written down 6 qualities which should be enough for getting good marks. So let's begin. The first quality that is considered most important for many to in many books it's written over here. Also, I've written that it is the ability to develop innovative and viable business proposals and projects. The innovation, the create ability to create new thing, create something different, to think differently. That's what is needed in entrepreneurs nowadays. You need to be innovative. You need to bring something different. You need to present your business as being different from others. It also includes sometimes in books you might say that they also say that it means that the entrepreneur needs he should be able to identify a niche market and exploit it as well. Niche market, what is a niche market? We have discussed that in the marketing chapter. So just in case you don't know, niche market is basically a small market as opposed to a big market, mass market. It consists of specialized customers. For example, people who use left hand items for left hand. So there's a shop for that. It's called Lefties. You might search on internet for that. It's a very good shop. Like, it offers it's all for stationery items and stuff like that for people who are left-handed. So that's about a niche market. So the Lefties, that was a great example of what a niche market could be, and that is basically the idea to think differently. The owner who was able to make that product, make that business, he was innovative, he thought differently, and he was able to identify that okay, there's a certain market that exists, there's certain demand for this product and it's not being fulfilled. These people need some products, so he was able to identify it and exploit it. What do you mean exploit it? It means by charging some certain price for the product, because that product is not offered by some other businesses, so you generally charge a higher price. And we say that attract customers and present the business as being different from others, this generally means like adding USPs to the product, making your product something different. Great example of that could be Apple. The iPhones and all iPads, that's a very big huge success. It's considered different from Android. It has a whole different USPs. A lot of it has a great brand image. So whoever the owner was is like the owner of that was able to identify the he was innovative, he thought differently, and he was thus able to exploit it. Now, another quality could be willingness to take calculated financial risk is always involved, but the greater the risk, the greater the reward. That's what one of my greatest teachers said, and that is true in business activities. The more risk there's a greater reward, but you don't just take random risk. You have to calculate the risk. Financial risk is involved, and often you have to risk your own savings, but greater the risk, the greater the reward. Steve Jobs, you might know that he failed funds. He was kicked out of one of his companies, and he took a lot of effort, but he was failed. But he didn't give up. He was self-confident. He had a strong personality, and he continued his work, and he created his own company then, and that was a whole success, a greater success. So that's what we need. We need to take calculated financial risk. You have to risk it, but because if you don't risk it, then you can't get some reward. You have to risk. There is always a risk. Then there's also a point that they should be self-confident and able to promote the business idea, especially to potential investors or banks to gain loans. If When we are going to be discussing about the problems of small businesses, why they fail early on, one of the biggest problems is that they lack sufficient capital. They run out of working capital because they can't get loans from banks. Banks are reluctant to give loans to new businesses because there isn't a guarantee that they might be able to return it or not. So you need to be self-confident in your business plan, and you need to promote it effectively to the business, to banks and investors, so they know that your plan was gonna succeed. They know that it's gonna be a hit, and they'll get a profit from it. Hence, they might get loans to you. And you should also be self-motivated and multi-skilled. By self-motivated, it means you have to work night and day to make your business a success. There will be some shortcomings. You have to bounce back from that failure, and you need to keep yourself motivated in order for the business to succeed. And multi-skilled. Why multi-skilled? Because in early on, there is not much of different employees you can have. So generally, you have to handle multiple things on your own. You have to handle finance on your own, marketing on your own, operations on your own, and motivating employees. All this, the entrepreneur has to do all of it on his own. Sorry. So he also needs a strong personality. There should be energy. He should be energetic and driven to make the business succeed, able to bounce back from shortcomings. So that's the example. That Steve Jobs example is a great example of that. Strong personality, the energy they had, the willingness to make that your business a success. That is what you need for a successful entrepreneur. And lastly, be persuasive and provide a vision for the future. Persuade investors to invest in the new business plan, provide vision to employees to motivate them, and keep all the departments coordinated with a common goal. So it might be similar to this product, but that is for gaining investors only. Over here, you are trying to give an idea of the far future of what you are trying to aim, what is the vision of the future, and how you are going to get reach that. And over here, it's not just concerned to investors as opposed to that point. Over here, you are also concerning it to employees. You have to motivate them to. You have to be a leader. You have to lead them towards success. So all the departments should also be coordinated. You have to be the main big brain behind all that. You need to keep all the departments coordinated with a common goal, a common target, by providing a vision for the future. So that's all about the qualities of a successful entrepreneur. Let's move on. Now we have reasons for business failure, especially in first year of trading. In first year, it's a very common question in your AS exams. And generally in P1, it comes a lot. 8-mark question: why business fail early on in the first year of trading? What are the reasons? Or they might say, this is the main reason for business failure. Do you agree or not? Why do you don't agree? What are the other reasons that there could be? So I'll list down some reasons over here, and the bracket there's an explanation about that. This is basically like, you know, you can say these brackets that I have written inside the brackets is the explanation you can give with your points to support your point of view, to support your knowledge, and this is generally called analysis. In business studies, there's a 4 level of marks, 4 levels you can get your marks on: knowledge, application, analysis, and evaluation. Analysis basically means linking one thing to another, the cause affects the effects of something. Like if you make one decision, what will be the effect of that on the business? If you make this decision, what will be the effect? Linking one point to another and bringing a chain of analysis. That's basically what it means. So yeah, that's what I've written over in brackets. It might help you in the 8-mark questions, so you can take a screenshot of it if you want. So cash flow problems. Cash flow problems is generally a big issue for new businesses. Why? Because customer payments are not made early on, or they are made very slow. People like, they might take too much credited time, and if you don't remind customers on to pay on time, it's a big issue. Why? It's because since your business is new, you have to offer some credit, and you have to offer some credit time. If you don't, then why will new customers come to you? They will go to other businesses that offer credit time. Since you are a new business, you are expected to give some more time to the customer, so that becomes an issue if they play slowly. Cash flow problems can also arise from rapid expansion due to diseconomies of scale. If a business is expanding rapidly in the first year of its operation to get more sales, you might, instead of getting economies of scale, you're gonna get diseconomies of scale. What are diseconomies of scale? These are some negative impacts caused by rapid expansion and all. So if organization becomes too large, communication with employees is reduced, you need more machinery after expansion, and you might even run out of capital, working capital, and need to take loans. How you might run out of working capital? For the machinery, for paying the huge number of employees, and if you take loans, there will be greater gearing on your business. Gearing is basically how much loan your business currently has, and if you keep taking loans and not return it, that becomes a great issue. So there's poor management skills. Poor management skills is like leadership. If you don't have enough leadership, you are not a proper leader. Employees are not motivated and coordinated, so quality of products reduces. So you need to be a good leader. If you don't, as I've discussed earlier, the successful qualities that is absent over here, because of which employees are not motivated. There's a lack of communication skill. You are not able to coordinate departments or convince banks to lend loans. You need to be a convincing person. You need to present your business as different. You need to coordinate departments. If you're not able to do that, then sorry, you have poor management skills. You can't be a good leader, and that's why your business will probably fail. And there's also a lack of decision making skills. You choose a wrong supplier or a wrong location. A wrong location is basically one of the biggest mistakes generally new business can make, because it's not easy to relocate a business. You have to think of this decision very wisely. You have to think about it very carefully, and it is generally, this decision is made at the highest level of decision making. Generally the owners make this decision. You may lose customers to competitors, especially the well-established ones who have a solid customer base, and may reduce prices to attract more customers. So that becomes an issue as well to new businesses, because as new businesses come to the market, the existing ones, they might think of them as threats. So they try to lower the prices and attract the new customers, and then because of that, the customers don't come to you, they continue going to their existing businesses. So they try to strangle you at your birth. Before you even try to establish yourself, they try to strangle you and prevent you from getting some more customers, because of which, of course, you lose customers, and you are not able to get customers sufficient sales in the limited time, so you run out of cash and working capital. Quality may also reduce due to a change of to cheaper supplier, leading to customers leaving. If you change your suppliers, as I discussed earlier, that you chose the wrong supplier. If you change your supplier to cheaper suppliers, you might mean that okay, you getting cheaper suppliers, so that means your cost is reduced, but the quality is also reduced. And if quality is reduced, customers might leave. Customers will leave, the sales will decrease. Sales will decrease, working capital decreases. So the business fails. This what I am doing is a chain of analysis, linking one point to another, and you should be able to do that, because this is one of the most basic things that come. And one last factor for business failure is business dynamism. What this means is that the business environment is dynamic. It is not constant, it is not static. It changes every time. There's a change in government policies. There's sometimes an influx of competitors. There's a decrease in demand at times, or an increase in demand. There's a changes in technology, recession in the economy, and difficult to handle. If there's a change in the technology, your technology might become obsolete. So you might have to innovate your business. You have to make your business more capital intensive. That means more cost. And there's sometimes recession in economy, which are too difficult to handle and often lead to business failure in the first year of operations. These recessions are not common generally, but if they happen, then they leave a big impact, like this COVID situation has done. So it might have been good for the online institution, but generally the not too good for other businesses. So that's all for business failure. Hope you guys understood it. Thanks for watching. Allah Hafiz.